Think about a suspension bridge for a second. If engineers built it to be completely rigid, like a brick wall,
Oh, it would just snap.
right, the very first hurricane comes through and it snaps right in half. It only survives because it's actually designed to sway.
Yeah, but when it comes to our own emotions,
Hmm.
we're constantly trying to be that brick wall. We think if we just stand there, taking the hits without showing a single crack, we're somehow winning.
Which is wild because suppressing all those difficult emotions is just, well, a recipe for eventually crumbling.
Exactly. Real resilience is about adapting to the wind.
Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to this deep dive into ORRIE Karim's article, Developing Emotional Resilience. Our mission today is to give you a shortcut to actually bouncing back from adversity.
And maintaining your purpose while you do it.
Yes. Because what is fascinating here is that Karim shows how this flexibility, it isn't just some passive trait.
Right. You don't just wake up resilient. It's a highly structured skill that you have to cultivate through intentional practice.
So if it's an active skill, where do we even start? Because Karim argues the first pillar is self-awareness and acceptance.
Yeah, just recognizing your triggers without any judgment.
But I have to push back on this a little bit. I mean, doesn't accepting a terrible reality just sound like a disguised way of giving up?
Oh, like saying, well, I guess this is my life now.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds so passive.
It's a super common trap to view it that way.
Yeah.
But acceptance, it doesn't mean surrendering. It doesn't even mean you like the situation.
Okay, so what does it actually mean then?
It simply means acknowledging the baseline reality. I mean, think of it this way. If you're lost in the woods, pretending you aren't lost is not going to help you find the way out.
Oh, wow. Right.
You have to accept you were lost before you can even, pull out a map.
So acceptance is just grabbing the map. And once you have the map, you can change your internal narrative. That's the second pillar, right? The power of perspective.
Yes. Instead of viewing a challenge as like a personal failure, you start asking a different question.
Like, what is this situation teaching me?
Exactly. You shift from being a victim of your circumstances to being a student of them.
I love that framing. But shifting your perspective is, well, it's entirely mental. Your brain might be looking for the lesson, but your nervous system.
But your nervous system could still be in full fight or flight mode.
Right. So how do you physically get your body to catch up to your brain?
Well, that requires active regulation, which is the third pillar. We're talking about building a real-time toolkit.
Like deep breathing or journaling or even just physical movement.
Yeah, and the physiological mechanism there is so crucial. By engaging in deep breathing, for example, you stimulate the vagus nerve.
Which physically signals to your brain that you are safe.
Right, it lowers your cortisol levels. And once you calm that nervous system down, you finally have the bandwidth to look up and realize, hey, I shouldn't be navigating these woods alone.
Which brings us to the fourth pillar, meaningful connection. Because resilience is rarely a solo endeavor.
No, not at all. We need a network of supportive relationships to act as a vital emotional safety net.
And while this whole focus on active regulation and communal support feels like a modern psychology seminar.
Karim points out it's actually deeply rooted in ancient texts. He highlights biblical sources, like Joshua 1.9.
Which frames bravery around the presence of God, right?
Yes, and also Hebrews 12.12 through 13.
It's so surprising to see modern psychological frameworks mirrored in texts that are thousands of years old. What's the specific connection there with Hebrews?
Well, the Message translation of Hebrews, it urges us not to just sit around on our hands. It says we need to help each other out and run with an abundance of energy.
Not sitting on your hands. I love that visual.
Yeah, it contrasts so sharply with our modern individualistic view of just, toughing it out in total isolation. Historically, enduring hardship was always a highly active, community-driven process.
And helping someone else out requires you to be fully present with them. You have to balance where you are right now with where you're ultimately going.
Which Karim actually has specific terminology for. He calls it intentional inhabitation combined with high-altitude alignment.
Okay, intentional inhabitation. That's being fully present.
Exactly. The psychology behind that dual mindset is what creates a sustainable path for personal and professional success.
Yeah.
You evaluate what is truly essential right now.
While acknowledging the bigger picture and the growth you've already achieved, to me this is exactly like using the GPS on your phone.
Oh, how so?
Well, intentional inhabitation is dropping a pin exactly where you are standing today. You have to be right there. But high altitude alignment is keeping your screen zoomed out enough to see the ultimate destination on the map.
That is a perfect analogy, because if you only zoom in, you lose your bearings entirely.
Right.
But if you only zoom out, you trip over what's right in front of you.
Yeah.
Balancing both keeps you moving forward safely.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? True resilience isn't about hardening yourself into an impenetrable wall.
No, it is an active, ongoing practice of flexibility.
Right. It's a chronological journey. You stop fighting reality so you can find the lesson. You actively calm your nervous system so your body catches up to your brain.
And you grab a hand, you lean on your community while balancing the reality of right now with your zoomed out goals.
We spend so much time thinking about how we can build our own resilience, but I want to leave you with a different question to mull over as you go about your day.
Oh, I like this. What is it?
Well, if true emotional resilience requires a supportive network to act as that safety net, who in your life might need you to be their meaningful connection today?